The City of Bristol, providing beautiful parks, economic development, and a family-friendly community.
I'm going to call the joint meeting to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Recording in progress.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll start with introductions on my far right. Chairman Smith.
John Smith, Board of Finance.
Rob Burns, Board of Finance.
Orlando Kelfi, Board of Finance.
Jacqueline Olson, City Council, District 2.
Jolene Lusitani, City Council, District 1.
Andrew House, City Council.
Jeff Caggiano, Mayor.
Cheryl Tebow, City Council, District 3.
Sebastian Pinheiro, City Council, District 1.
Sue Tyler, City Council, District 2.
And let's do our Zoom. Marie, can you hear us? You're muted. Yeah, Marie, can you, there she is. Say hello, Marie. I think we'll take that as hello, Marie. We're all right. She got it off mute, so that's good. There we go. Two more. David. Yeah, anybody else out there that I'm missing? Nope, that's everybody. Therese? Want to read them off?
The agenda?
Yeah, go ahead.
Approval of the minutes of the regular joint meeting on November 9th, 2021, and special joint meeting on October 26th, 2021.
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion on it, changes? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
And Your Honor, just so you know, they did something with, the IT department did something with our microphones, so you don't need to get close to the microphones anymore. You can actually stay a little bit further away, and they can hear you on Zoom very well, so just so
Love
everyone's
that.
aware.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I'm going to spread COVID if you don't get close.
So actually, one other quick announcement, too, before we move into consent calendar. Lots of new people out here, which is great, and some people online. New city council, many of the people on the Board of Finance. Just a reminder, as one of the Board of Finance members pointed out to me, that the joint board is a compilation of lots of meetings before this. There's lots of big numbers we're going to be talking about here. We're not just throwing out these numbers. They have been talked about in subcommittees and other committees, and they come together here. So more of a formality. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Thanks for the reminder.
And the next item is the consent calendar, and there are 7 items. Do you need me to read them, or you just want to ask if somebody wants to pull one off?
Yeah, I'll ask, does anybody want to pull something off from the consent calendar? Jackie?
Yes, I'd like to move that we pull 2A and 2F just for additional information.
Okay. So then, I guess I'll be entertaining a motion to approve consent calendars, item B, C, D, E, and G.
Move approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No. Motion carries. All right, we'll take these one at a time, right, Therese?
Yeah.
2A,
Yes.
Jackie?
It's my understanding that 2A, the amount totaling $7,310 is for Connecticut Library payment. I'd just like to know what that is.
I don't know that I have the answer, so Diane?
So it's a state grant that we get, and what you are doing in this action is you're basically appropriating the grant and then appropriating the revenues, and then you're appropriating the appropriation so the library can spend the money. So it's pretty routine with a lot of grants that we receive. It's just a matter of getting the appropriation on our financial system and legally authorized so that they can spend it.
Thank you, Diane.
Great. Don't go too far, Diane, because let's take up F right now as well, too, and talk about the $50,000 within the capital non-recurring fund for G.H. Sessions professional fees. I'm sure this has something, I think, to do with the building on the riverside, and maybe Cheryl can comment on it a little bit if you'd like. It's fine.
I believe that this was the $50,000 that Economic Development had voted on because come January, we're responsible for the heating and electrical of that facility, and so this was set up to cover those costs.
That is exactly what it's for.
Excellent. And just to add a little bit more too, so this is so that we can get it through the transition period before the land bank takes it over and we do the remediation.
Good.
We're learning quick. I like that.
Yep, good,
All
thank
right.
you.
So I guess I will need a motion for A and G. We can do them together?
In F.
Move it.
A and F, sorry, A and F. Yep. John? Second by Ron. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No, motion carries. Number 3?
Item 3, to transfer $47,000 from the capital projects contingency account for Shrub Road professional fees.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We didn't have any discussion, I apologize, but if we'll go back if we need to. No? 4?
4, to appropriate $600,000 for improvements to the E.G. Stocks Playground and Splash Park, and to waive the reading of the resolution, but to include it as part of the minutes.
Motion?
Move it.
Second for Andrew. I heard you, Andrew. Any discussion on this one? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Number 5.
To authorize the issuance of bonds or notes for $600,000 to finance the appropriation for improvements to the E.G. Stocks Playground and Splash Park, and to waive the reading of the resolution, but to include it as part of the minutes.
Move approval.
Second?
Cheryl gets a second. Any discussion on this one? Nope. All in favor?
Aye.
We need
Any-
roll call on this?
Roll, right?
Oh, we need a roll call on the resolution, true. Thank you. We'll start with you, John.
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
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 And Marie?
Yes.
And then can we also just take the roll call for the item just before that?
Yep,
which was
good catch. So for item number 4, that was, right?
That was 4 we just did, and then 3 was the
Yep.
previous one.
Okay, so we'll do 4.
Yes.
I'm sorry, 4, yeah.
Yes.
Jolene? Andrew? Yes?
Yes.
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 Marie, you're up. We can hear you, Marie. Yes? No? Abstain?
Didn't hear us?
Looks like she can. Therese, do we take that as an abstention? No? Oh, she tried to speak.
Marie, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. All right, so we're caught up.
Yes.
3, good. We get to
So
number
4 and 5, so we're on 6.
6, yep.
To appropriate $600,000 for improvements to the Page Park Pavilion, Phase 2, and to waive the reading of the resolution, but to include it as part of the minutes.
This is roll call again.
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
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 2 yeses there. Marie, you're up again.
Yes.
Okay.
Excellent.
And then who made the first and second? Who made the motion?
John?
John and
I'll take second.
Orlando? Thank you,
Orlando.
guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. Number
7, to authorize the issuance of bonds or notes for $600,000 to finance the appropriation for improvements to the Page Park Pavilion Phase 2, and to waive the reading of the resolution, but to include it as part of the minutes.
motion.
Approval.
Second.
And that was Andrew Howe?
No, that
No,
was
Ron.
Ron Burns
Ron
got the
Burns,
second.
thank you.
Now, any discussion on this one? Nope. Start with you, John.
Yes.
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 Marie?
Yes.
Excellent.
Okay, to appropriate $2 million for the revitalization of Page Park, and to waive the reading of the resolution, but to include it as part of the minutes.
Motion.
Move it.
Second?
Jackie got this second. Any discussion on this one? We'll do a roll call vote, starting with John.
Yes.
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 Marie?
Yes.
9, to authorize the issuance of bonds or notes for $2 million to finance the appropriation for the revitalization of Page Park and to waive the reading of the resolution, but to include it as part of the minutes.
Move to approve?
Second.
Jackie's first, and now John's the second. Any comments, questions? Roll call, start with you again, John. Keep
Yes.
going.
Yes.
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 Good job, Marie.
Okay.
job,
To
Maria.
appropriate $250,000 for the Northeast Middle School design project and to waive the reading of the resolution, but to include it as part of the minutes.
Move approval.
Second.
Andrew's second on that one. Any discussion? John?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Marie?
Yes.
Oh, she's got it.
Yes.
Good job, Marie. Thanks.
To authorize the issuance of bonds.
Motion carries, by the way. Go ahead. 11.
To authorize the issuance of bonds or notes for $250,000 to finance the appropriation for the Northeast Middle School design project and to waive the reading of the resolution, but to include it as part of the minutes.
Move approval.
Second.
Second is Ron Burns this time. Any discussion? Hearing none. John?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Marie?
Yes.
Excellent. Motion carries. Number 12.
To appropriate $1,306,500 for the replacement of the Edgewood School roof and to waive the reading of the resolution, but to include it as part of the minutes.
Move it.
Second.
Second's Orlando this time. Any discussion? John?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Right on cue. Motion carries.
To authorize the issuance of bonds or notes for $1,306,500 to finance the appropriation for the replacement of the Edgewood School roof and to waive the reading of the resolution, but to include it as part of the minutes.
Move it.
Second.
I'll give that one to Andrew. Any discussion? Hearing none. John?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Marie. Motion carries. 14.
To appropriate $80,000 for the design of the Broad Street retaining wall and to waive the reading of the resolution, but to include it as part of the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Orlando's the second. Any discussion? Go ahead, John.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Great. Motion carries. 15.
To authorize the issuance of bonds or notes for $80,000 to finance the appropriation for the design of the Broad Street retaining wall and to waive the reading of the resolution, but to include it as part of the minutes.
Move it.
Second.
Andrew, second. Any discussion? Go ahead, John.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. Motion carries. 16, right?
To appropriate $430,000 for the replacement of the Field Street culvert and to waive the reading of the resolution, but to include it as part of the minutes.
Move to approve?
Second.
Jackie and John. Any discussion? John?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Marie. Motion carries. 18.
To authorize the issuance of bonds or notes for $430,000 to finance the appropriation for the replacement of the Field Street culvert and to waive the reading of the resolution, but to include it as part of the minutes.
Move approval.
Second.
Orlando, second. Any discussion? Hearing none. John?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Marie?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Number 19.
To appropriate 300.
Oops, sorry. 19, right?
18.
18.
To appropriate $340,000 for the replacement of sidewalks on a portion of Woodland Street and to waive the reading of the resolution, but to include it as part of the minutes.
Move approval.
Second.
Jackie's second. Any discussion? None. John?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Marie?
Yes.
Motion carries. Now
19, to authorize the issuance of bonds or notes for $340,000 to finance the appropriation for the replacement of sidewalks on a portion of Woodland Street, and to waive the reading of the resolution, but to include it as part of the minutes.
So moved.
Approval.
I'll give that one to Andrew and a second to Sebastian. Then any discussion? No? John?
Yes.
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 Yep.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Marie?
Yes.
Excellent. Number 20.
To appropriate $80,000 for the design of sidewalks on portions of Shrub Road and Jerome Avenue, and to waive the reading of the resolution, but to include it as part of the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second is Jolene. No discussion? John?
Yes.
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 Thank you. Motion carries. Next, 21, right?
Yes. To authorize the issuance of bonds or notes for $80,000 to finance the appropriation for the design of sidewalks on portions of Shrub Road and Jerome Avenue, and to waive the reading of the resolution, but to include it as part of the minutes.
Move approval.
Second.
Orlando gets a second on that one. Any discussion? No? John?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Marie?
Yes.
Thank you, Marie. Motion carries.
Yes.
Thank you. 22.
To appropriate $31,800,000 for the City Hall building renovations, and to waive the reading of the resolution, but to include it as part of the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second will be Jackie this time. Any discussion on this one? Hearing none. John?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
We see.
Yes.
Thank you, Marie. Motion carries. 23.
To authorize the issuance of bonds or notes for $31,800,000 to finance the appropriation for the City Hall building renovations, and to waive the reading of the resolution, but to include it as part of the minutes.
Move approval.
Second.
Seconds Orlando. Any discussion? John?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Marie. Motion carries. 24.
To appropriate $1,900,000 for the Police Court Complex Upgrades Phase 1, and to waive the reading of the resolution, but to include it as part of the minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Susan, and second is John this time. Any discussion? John, we'll start with you again.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. 25, right?
To authorize the issuance of bonds or notes for $1,900,000 to finance the appropriation for the Police Court Complex Upgrades Phase 1, and to waive the reading of the resolution, but to include it as part of the minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Sue Tyler and John. And no discussion. John?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Marie?
Yes.
Thank you, Marie. Motion carries. That was a long haul. Thank you for your patience. We get to 26 now.
And that's the monthly revenue and expense report presentation by the controller.
You can't start out with yes.
That was quite the motions that you had to go through. So just for the new board, new council, luckily, we only do that once a year. Basically, it's appropriating the funding for capital projects that were approved during the capital budget process. So the reason it's so long, bond council requires that all of those resolutions are in place. You have to appropriate the money, and then you also have to do the bond resolution. So that's why there were two for every project that you approved. Maybe next year we might could think about consolidating that all into one motion if we want to do that. So we could talk about that. You have the revenue and expense report. I know we're running a little behind, so I'll try and be quick. The current tax revenues are really ahead of where they were last year. Last year, though, we were deferring, so it was a little bit behind last year. But again, nothing to be concerned about. The second installment of real estate and personal property will be due January 1st. Prior year tax revenues actually are higher than last year at this time. We're at 1.1 million compared to 700,000 last year at this time. So That's been coming in really well. The one thing I do want to report on, the motor vehicle supplement bills will be going out the end of the month. Those are due January 1st, and again, it's those cars that are purchased in between during the year. They get billed on October 1st. That revenue, we do budget conservatively. We budgeted $1.5 million. I know the assessor, when I talked with him earlier when I was putting this report together, we're actually going to be bringing in $500,000 more than last year that was billed. And overall, the estimate is about $2.1 million compared to the 1.5. So that's something good, and we'll just watch how the collections come in throughout the year. Typically, the motor vehicle sup, we collect at a rate of about 87%, 86, 87%, which is a little bit lower and typical for the motor vehicle supplement. Building permits and conveyance taxes, those are far ahead of where they should be at this time of the year. 97% actually for the conveyance taxes. I know we had a couple of large ones that came in. And then building permits are at 64.3. On the expenditure side, not too much to really talk about at this point. On other items that I do want to bring up, I did talk about the ARPA funds that have been appropriated. I want to let everybody know the portal is live. I think it went live today. So I know on the city side, we did have a couple of inquiries from department heads to start putting some projects in. So the not-for-profit and businesses, I'm sure the word got out to them as well through the task force. We are still on extension for the June 30th, 2021 audit. I will keep you updated on that. And then just one thing to let you know that we are doing, we do have to do a bond issue. I'm estimating at this point it will be about $25 million. I want to let you know that we did look at all of the projects. The projects that you approved tonight, none of those projects are going to be included in the bond issue. It's, well, other than maybe City Hall, depending on what that project, when we can get those bids in. But these are all projects that have been in process. When we looked at this last year with the Capital Improvement and Strategic Planning Committee, we looked at a way to try to level out our debt service. So this was in the plan to do either a note issue in this fiscal year in 21-22. Interest rates are so good right now that our financial advisor and our bond counsel have advised that we could stay within the budget and what we anticipated and issue bonds, which I think is the right thing to do because issuance costs when you do this are pretty steep as well. So I started working with bond counsel, started working with the financial advisor, and we're looking at probably around a March timeframe to issue the bonds, but a lot of the work goes in beforehand. So we'll be going to the rating agencies, putting together the official statement, and I'll keep you posted as that process goes on, because I know that'll be new for many of you. But that's all I have to report. Some of the major projects that we will be bonding, just the Memorial Boulevard School, of course, is a big part of it. Shrub Road, the fire department renovations that took place last year or whenever, 2 years ago. And then, of course, City Hall, there's some portions that we can for the architect, we can bond that. So that's how we get to it'll be about $25 million, roughly. The budget process has started, and I know the departments have already started working on that. So that process is ready to begin again. Any questions?
Yeah, through the chair.
Sure.
Are you still using Matt as the financial advisor?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Diane? No. Thank you, Diane.
And happy holidays to everybody.
Yep.
Same to you.
Thank you.
All right. Is there any other business to come before this group? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second?
I'm going to give Cheryl that second. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Looking at the clock back there, why don't we reconvene at 7:15? Quick 5-minute break. Welcome, everybody. 7:15. I'm going to call the City Council meeting to order, and we're going to start out with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's start with introductions. Lots of new people here still, too. So I'll start on my far right.
Jacqueline Olson, City Council District 2.
Jolene Lusitani, City Council District 1.
Andrew Howe, District 3.
Jeff Caggiano, Mayor.
Cheryl Tebow, City Council, District 3.
Sebastian Piñeiro, City Council, District 1.
Sue Tyler, City Council, District 2.
Good. And on the agenda, item number 1, opening ceremonies. I don't think we have any major opening ceremonies at this point. We're getting our feet wet. We hope to start bringing those on in January. But at this point, I would like to take a moment of reflection or a moment of silence. We're on the 7th anniversary of the shootings at Sandy Hook. Thank you. Item number 2. Teresa, I'll have you read them.
Is the approval of minutes of the regular city council meeting on November 9th, 2021, and special city council meetings on November 4th, 2021, and November 18th, 2021.
Move to approve?
Second?
Cheryl beat you, Andrew. Any discussion on any of these changes, amendments, comments? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. All right, number 3 on our list is public participation. I have a list here. We have a full audience. We also have people on the Zoom. I will do the people listed here first, and then we can go to Zoom if anybody has any comments. I am going to ask that we limit the participation to about 3 minutes. Certainly, if you can't say it in 3 minutes, we could set up a time after. I will mention, too, that we had one of our first open office hours last night at Mrs. Rockwell's Pavilion. We're here to listen, but I want to be fair to people, and I'm going to ask you to try to keep your comments to 3 minutes. First up is Jody Bouchard. And Jody, while you're coming up, I'll ask that you give us your address and let us know the topic as well, too. I think for the others, I may have that.
Thank you. I'm here to address the Covanton Incinerator. My name is Jody Bouchard, and I reside at 29 Mohegan Lane in Bristol, Connecticut. Good evening, Mayor Caggiano and City Council members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. Again, my name is Jody Bouchard. I'm a lifelong resident, born and raised here in Bristol, and I moved back to our city in 2006 to raise my young family. I've always loved the city, and I'm proud of its opportunity, community initiative, diversity, and history. I became involved in a community action group as a volunteer organizer known as Bristol Residents for Clean Air in July of 2021, after seeing a Facebook post stating that the city was in favor of a permit filed to burn medical waste at the Bristol Covanton Trash Incinerator. And as a full-time real estate broker of over 13 years, I knew immediately that this plan was not a good one for our city. I have seen municipalities all over the state fight corporations seeking to build similar facilities in their communities. They fight for the health and safety of their families and residents, and they fight because of the pollution and the stigma that affects and follows property values in their town. The mission of Bristol Residents for Clean Air is to provide knowledge to the residents of Bristol who share an overwhelming argument that they possess little or no information regarding Covanton's permit to burn medical waste. Many feel that there has been a lack of transparency in city government regarding this. Now, Bristol Residents for Clean Air has been fortunate enough to obtain well-respected residents of the Bristol community to dedicate their time and efforts to this issue. There have been many volunteer hours of social media and web content, petition efforts, and community outreach to the mission, and to date, over 1,000 Bristol residents and residents of surrounding communities have made their voices heard on the signing of a petition to ask Mayor and City Council to retract their support for Covanton's permit to burn medical waste. In an effort to combat climate change, control over air emissions, and institute environmental protocols, both Washington and Government Lamont have exercised efforts through the installment of coalitions, commission boards, and executive orders to spearhead these efforts. We must do the same in our town. If we allow large corporations to incinerate solid waste, combined with biomedical waste from 7 states, we are doing a grave injustice to the oath to protect the health, well-being, and safety of our residents. It is well-documented science that the incineration of trash is not only dirtier than burning coal, but that airborne plastics, pollutants, and gases destroy and contaminate our water supply and air. It is the request of Bristol residents for clean air that the mayor and city council address the reinstatement of strict air pollution controls to control, monitor, and provide safe procedure for our town and neighbors through the use of local clean air ordinances. You will hear statements from our fellow members regarding the present concerns of the motion to incinerate biomedical waste at the Covanta facility, what we can do to ensure safety and well-being, and the potential impact that this permit will allow. Thank you.
Thank you, Jody. Timed very well, too. See what you can get accomplished in 3 minutes. David Radcliffe, you're up next.
Good evening. My name is Dave Ratcliffe, 730 Lake Avenue, Bristol, and I'm here representing the Bristol Residents for Clean Air, a group formed when we learned of the Covanta effort to amend its burning permit to include the burning of biomedical waste. We learned about the application in June of 21 when we received invitations to a presentation by Covanta scheduled for July 14th of 21. After doing some research, we learned that the process had started in 2018 when the Bristol City Council authorized a modification of the contract with Covanta to allow the burning of biomedical waste, pending a permit amendment from the state. Subsequently, Covanta received letters of support and endorsement from the mayor at the time. In her letters, the mayor stated that she was unaware of any opposition. Unfortunately, little had been done to publicize this issue, and the general population, other than some members of boards and commissions affected by this change, was unaware of what was taking place. By the time notice was made more widely available in June of 21, the DEEP application process was already underway, and we are at the time in the environmental justice phase. The permit process is now in the technical review phase, which should be completed in the first quarter of 22. There will be another opportunity for public comment and public hearing, after which DEEP will either approve or reject the permit, which could come in the middle of 22. The state of Connecticut has a goal from an executive order from Governor Lamont issued in September of 19 that we reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 45% by 2030. Approving this permit is not consistent with that initiative, and yet we believe that DEEP will grant this amendment to the current burning permit, and biomedical waste will be burned when plant modifications are completed. Currently, Covanta is permitted to burn 716 tons of municipal waste per day, of which 8% or 57 tons may be special waste. The permit allows Covanta to burn up to 114 tons of special waste on any given day, as long as the weekly average is 57 tons a day. Covanta is asking to amend its permit to allow biomedical waste to be added to its special waste. Covanta will then still be allowed to burn 57 tons a day, but would now include biomedical waste in that tonnage. The state of Connecticut all by itself currently produces 10,000 tons of biomedical waste annually, which averages 27 tons a day. Covanta is on record as saying that it will substitute biomedical waste for other special waste to meet the demand. The problem is that it also plans to accept biomedical waste from 7 other states, most of which are larger than Connecticut, and which produce a greater volume of biomedical waste. Covanta would then replace all special waste with biomedical waste, and on those days when it burns 114 tons of special waste, biomedical waste emissions would comprise 16% of the total burn for that day. Covanta currently only monitors nitrogen oxides, sulfur dioxide, and carbon dioxide daily. Yet biomedical waste has a high percentage of plastics, which when burned, produce dioxins and furans, known carcinogens. These special wastes also generate heavy metals, mercury, and lead when incinerated. Once a year, DEEP performs a scheduled stack test where all the elements are monitored. What do the emissions contain the other 364 days of the year? Without expanding monitoring, we can only rely on Covanta to assure us that all is within guidelines and the process is working as designed. Bristol Residents is asking the City Council to ensure the air quality regulations, curiously removed from city ordinances in June of 21, be replaced by regulations generated by its ordinance committee with the assistance of an environmental consultant. And that these regulations address the tonnage issues and, more importantly, the monitoring of emissions from the Covanta plant. Current state regulations allow municipalities to develop their own air quality standards, but they must be approved by DEEP. Working with the state, we should develop standards that reflect the greater potential for pollution risk posed by the burning of biomedical waste and institute more stringent standards that reflect that risk. The most important role of City Council is to provide for the safety of its citizens. Ensuring that their air is safe to breathe is an example of a responsible and responsive government. It would be proactive, not reactive, and in the best interests of the citizens of the greater Bristol region. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Next up is Jane Anastasio.
Good evening. My name is Jane Anastasio, 78 Holly Road. I am a former member of the Zoning Commission, Board of Ethics, Board of Education, and I am a retired medical professional. I am here tonight to ask you, our council and mayor, to hire an environmental consultant to write environmental regulations to place back in our Bristol ordinances to protect the air we breathe. These ordinances were removed, and a statement in the minutes of the ordinance meeting said, quote, "We have no jurisdiction over this. I'm here to let you know that this is not accurate. Connecticut General Statute Section 7-1 and Section 22A gave all Connecticut towns the power to pass local laws to protect the environment and regulate emissions from smokestacks. I've already spoken to an environmental consultant, and the cost to write environmental ordinances would be approximately $10,000. This is a very small amount of money when compared to other consultants the city has hired. I am against Covanta's permits requesting the ability to burn medical waste from 8 states. Main concern, again, is the toxic chemicals resulting from the burning of waste. A large portion, as Dave said, are plastics, which produce dioxins, which is one of the most toxic chemicals known to mankind. Many cancers, breathing disorders, heart disease, neurological, permanent damage are caused by the toxic chemicals emitted by burning waste. It is widely known these pollutants also contribute to an increased incidence of asthma. According to a State Department of Health report on asthma, 14.9% of children in Bristol have asthma, which is higher than the state average of 14.3%. 1 out of every 7 children in Connecticut has this diagnosis. According to a 2019 CDC report, the national average is 7.8%. Connecticut has one of the highest rates of asthma in children among all the states. At this Covanta plant, there was also an air quality violation this year, exceeding levels of carbon monoxide. Nitrogen oxides and carbon monoxide exposure contributes to ground level formation of ozone, exacerbating asthma. I am curious, was our director of the health department notified of this violation? I would also like to mention that trash incinerators are one of the dirtiest ways to produce electricity. To produce the same amount of electricity, trash incinerators will release 28 times as much dioxin than a coal plant, 2.5 times more carbon dioxide, more mercury, sulfur dioxide, more nitrogen oxides. The idea of Covanta being allowed to bring in medical waste from 7 other states, larger than the state of Connecticut, is a nightmare for the Connecticut environment and the health of our citizens. These toxic carcinogens also can travel in the air for many miles, sometimes thousands of miles, when can be deposited in towns downwind, such as Plainville, Southington, New Britain, Newington. And their permits that they're requesting are also to burn body fluids, body parts, tissue, blood, dead animal carcasses. Is this really what we want to be bringing into Bristol from 7 other states? My last point is Covanta's requested this permit to burn this medical waste from all these other states does conflict, as David said, with Governor Lamont's Executive Order number 3, which also part of his order was to achieve a 0 carbon target by 2040. His executive order also states his Council on Climate Change shall monitor and report on the state's progress on the implementation of carbon mitigation strategies. Time is critical. We need to implement new environmental ordinances before Covanta does possibly get approval from DEEP. I would like to close with a quote from our Bristol deleted environmental regulations, which stated, "The purpose for the adoption of this article, recognizing further that air pollution is presently affecting the lives and the health of the citizens of the city, it is hereby declared to be public policy of the city to preserve, protect, and improve the air resources of the city so as to promote the health, safety, and welfare of the city's inhabitants." Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jane. And I believe the final person speaking about Covanta, Sam Vasile.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sam Vasile. I live at 639 Lake Avenue, Bristol. Like my fellow colleagues has just stated, they went over a lot of the technical ends of what we just went through. And basically, no one knew if this permit application wasn't brought to the forefront until we received like a glossy postcard in July about what their intentions were for a Zoom meeting, most of which for a lot of people is, technical to get on and, to follow through. But we went through it and, everybody just was so unaware of this whole thing, totally blindsided by it. Normally, in a perfect world, something of this nature is being brought forward for consideration. You think it would be a little bit more brought to the forefront. Not like we're adding a second addition to a house, or my fence is encroaching on your property, or I want to put a bigger sign in front of my store. Something of this nature that affects everyone for hundreds of miles should have been brought out more totally in the forefront with greater public participation. Everybody breathes the air here, okay? It's to meet national and state mandates in the next decade and to reduce CO2 emissions by up to 50%. This is the alternative we want. The burning, the answer is no. We cannot do this. There are much cleaner alternatives that we can have. The real push now is for the manufacturers of all products to be more accountable for their end user, for the product, so it gets back to them. And, we live in a society of instant gratification. We want everything now. The same goes with throwing stuff away. Throw it away, don't have to look at it again, it just magically disappears. This is what they're playing on. They have to learn to recycle like we do when it all started before. Separate the plastics from the cans, from the newspapers, the cardboard. Same can be said with all that other items. Things that are biomedical, that should be buried, must be buried. The plastic carcinogens, the burning of this, of what it goes into the air is catastrophic. And it affects everybody, asthma, any breathing condition that's there. The real answer is less in the waste stream and an increase in the recycling stream. It should be our mission to make this world a clean, environmentally sustainable place in which they and future generations can live in good health, in a place where their kids can raise their people too, their own. We don't want the stigma of being the 4th largest medical incinerator in the nation. Is this how Bristol's going to be tagged? Really? We have ESPN here, so many great things, the greatest park system in New England, and this is what we're going to be known as down the road. Really, the new ordinances we're requesting, that is the vehicle that we need to accomplish this, and you guys are there in the driver's seat. So let's do something. Thank you.
Thank you. Right at 3 minutes, too. I love that, Sammy. Just one quick comment. As everybody knows, there's not anything we can take action on this tonight, but I do know that you guys came in front of the Ordinance Committee, and this certainly is on our radar, so I appreciate your comments tonight. Next on my list is Mike Petosa, who wants to speak about item number 12 on our agenda, which is the project labor agreement.
Mike Petosa, I'm the president of the Greater Bristol Labor Federation, AFL-CIO, and our office is located at 61 East Main Street in Forestville, and my home residence is 30 Walnut Street in Bristol. Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. I'm here tonight to speak on item 12 on the agenda, rescinding the endorsement of the project labor agreement that was voted on by the previous Mayor and City Council on September 14th, 2021 for renovations at City Hall. What I would like to do is explain to you tonight what a project labor agreement is. A PLA is a collective bargaining agreement between building trade unions and contractors. They govern terms and conditions of employment for all craft workers, union and non-union, on a construction project. PLAs have been used for generations on successful public and private construction projects. The PLA issue has been bantered back and forth in Bristol for a number of years. I know this for a fact because I've been involved in just about every discussion concerning project labor agreements. We've had new schools built, West Bristol, Green Hills, which were non-PLAs, Bristol Central and Bristol Eastern that were remodeled, non-PLAs, and currently Memorial Boulevard, which is a non-PLA. Let me make one thing perfectly clear. On Bristol Central and Bristol Eastern, the workmanship was so shoddy by non-union workers that they had to call other companies in to basically do the work that was not done properly. Our neighboring cities, such as New Britain, they rely heavily on PLAs. Former Danbury Mayor Mark Boughton stated he would not do a project without a PLA. So what is Bristol's problem with this over the course of years? I don't know. Maybe it's a lack of understanding about what it is. But we certainly have been in the forefront to explain it time and time again. Is it the cost? Perhaps. That's one thing that's always mentioned. But let me say one thing. You're paying a prevailing wage. But with a project labor agreement, which is different than the prevailing wage, the projects are known to come in on time and on budget. And what's wrong with that? That's something that we all strive for. PLAs put local residents to work. And that's one of the key things here, putting our local residents to work in our hometown where construction projects are taking place. Residents who own homes, pay taxes, send their children to our schools, and put money into our local economy. Also, a PLA promotes apprenticeship training, minority hiring, and the hiring of veterans. Rescinding the PLA will harm local residents and residents who can learn a good trade and be productive. Without a PLA, there is no mechanism in place to guarantee work to local residents. Just think, a resident who may not work on a local project, instead we bring in some cases, out-of-state people to come in and work on these projects. And we know for a fact that this has happened time and time again. Any politician should realize that good-paying jobs is key to a successful economy, and using local residents is also a key because they are part of the city where they live. As president of the Greater Bristol Labor Federation and with support of our affiliated unions, we are asking that you do not rescind the PLA for the City Hall renovations and continue to support the residents who work in the trades and keep our economy healthy. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike. Next on the list is Jane Murdoch to talk about the Shrub Road Pigeon Hill project.
First off, it's great to see you.
Thanks, Jane.
Shrub Road, the former...
400 Shrub Road, your
400
address, right?
Shrub Road.
Got it, thank
Jane
you.
Murdoch, sorry. We were promised that we would have an update on the sidewalks, and seeing the item on the agenda, I just wanted to know if that was still going to happen. And then I heard the words partial sidewalks on Shrub Road, and we were told that it was going to be a full sidewalk all the way down through. We were told that we were going to have input into the final design. I had pointed out that also we had asked some of us residents if we could have our mailboxes moved over to the other side of the street so that we don't nearly get killed every time we go to get our mail. And I just needed you to know that the residents of Shrub Road were very divided about the sidewalks, and were more concerned about the speeding. And I speak for the whole city when I say I think we really have to address the speeding on some of the roads. It's just like brutal. And we have incidents of 60 miles an hour. They just drag race down our road. Okay, the second thing I wanted to talk about was the Pigeon Hill. I'm confused. There's a gentleman now who is taking apart the buildings and selling off wood and, you know, sheets of plywood and et cetera, et cetera. And I was under the impression the city of Bristol did not own the land yet, that it was still in the hands of the private owner. And so I'm confused why we are bonding, why we allocated some funds to do any kind of demolition. That just confuses me, because I don't feel until we own the land that we should be paying any money for any of the demolition. I understand if we in fact finally own the property and, you know, we do the open space thing, but we're not there yet. And I know that this whole agreement is rather fragile. And don't get me wrong, I do not want condos there. I don't think anyone on Shrub Road wants to see condos. I know a lot of us are heartbroken that the farm is gone. But it's just that I'm concerned about why are we paying for the demolition? And I know that there's asbestos involved. And who's this guy who's selling stuff off? I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
I'll interrupt you there because we're about at 3 minutes.
Okay.
There is an agenda item on the Pigeon Hill project. I think it's on the consent agenda. We'll try to pull that off to talk a little bit about that.
Yep.
As far as the sidewalks, I believe that we appropriated money for the design phase at this point.
Mhm.
It is all of Shrub Road and partial Jerome, from my understanding. So
Okay.
that's to be
There may
determined.
have been a phrasing in someone's comment
Yep.
that just didn't make sense. Okay.
Very good. Thank you,
guys.
Jane.
Yep.
Next on my list is Tom Barnes Sr. So definitely pull that one out of consent agenda. We'll talk about it a little more. Hey, doing, Tom?
Good evening. Tom Barnes, 1900 Perkins Street, Chairman of the Board at the Barnes Group, 10 generations in this community. So congratulations to all of you for your victory. Obviously, you all ran great campaigns. Just as maybe a little bit of history, having been here all my life, Bristol, back in the 60s and 70s, started to lose some of our major manufacturers in this community. New Departure, Superior Electric, Bristol Brass. And during that era, we've had numerous mayors and council folks sit in these seats who have been very supportive of business. And fortunately, we've been able to replace all of those jobs with small to mid-sized manufacturers that are located all around the city, in the old New Departure buildings, the industrial park, and of course we were very fortunate to get ESPN. So all of this has caused us to be a very successful city, very proud of it. You think about all the New England towns that have gone through the Industrial Revolution and not been able to recover. So the Center Mall has been a project that's been going on for a long, long time. Created a dust bowl across from our office. And it's nice to see things start to move on that with the commitment from the hospital. That one was done through a developer, so that even though it's a nonprofit, they are paying taxes as the developer. Not the Bristol Hospital, but the developer. We are supporting the Wheeler Clinic project. That's the one I wanted to talk about today because, first of all, they're very important to our community in terms of the services that they provide to our community. Certainly our employees use it at Barnes Group for difficulties, behavioral difficulties they may be having. So they bring a tremendous service to our town. The fact that they would build on that property will bring about 200 people to that location. I think as we revitalize the downtown area, we need traffic. And I don't know that we have a lot of opportunities to attract a tenant down there that would be 200 employees, along with what the hospital has and some of the other things. Obviously, the Carrier project is a great one, I think, all of which will support the development of that property. I think if you were to ask the businesses that are around that area today, they would all say that we'd love to have 200 more people walking around the Center Mall property. That would help them as they try to survive. And I know the brewery is struggling a bit. I think Pint Plate's doing okay. COVID's been tough on everybody. So we are supporting the Wheeler Clinic project. We are providing funding to the capital campaign that they're running. And I just wanted to speak on their behalf tonight. Thank you very much for your time.
Appreciate it, Tom. Thank you. All right, one more on my list here. Ken Linquist Jr., Bristol Arts and Culture Fund.
Hi there, good evening. I'm Kenneth Lundquist Jr.
Oh, I apologize.
No worries. On behalf of the Bristol Arts and Culture Fund, I brought along a little...
Your address for the record?
Certainly is 103 Hull Street right here in Bristol.
Thank you.
Our corporate address is 145 Redwood Drive. Now, if you like, I could pass this around. You could take a look at it.
Does it bite?
Started with Sue. I like that.
Now, what you see
the
there
detective
is
gets to look at
the
it.
brand new custom paver that will be installed at the Grand Promenade at the field entrance of the brand new Ames School. Now, we're doing this as our first fundraiser at this nonprofit. We're hoping to sell 1,000 bricks. We're almost about a third way there already. And it's just gaining a lot of momentum throughout the community. So I wanted to just take the opportunity here and introduce myself to the council, as well as give the opportunity to see the brick itself. As you see, it's pretty beautiful. And a lot of folks are very, very engaged with the campaign and really hoping to spread the 100-year history that's available to all of those residents that went through Bristol High School, Memorial Boulevard. I just think of all of the teachers and just the generations of folks and citizens right here in Bristol. So just wanted to show that to you folks and hope you enjoyed it. And if there's any questions or anything, the best resource to get to that would be our website, which is bristolacf.org. And all of the information is right there about that brick. So if you have any questions, I'll be back to answer more as well. And thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Lundquist. All right, I'm going to jump to see if anybody on the Zoom call has a public comment. If you're on mute, you need to unmute. Not hearing any. I'm going to jump to one last public comment, and this requires Josh, who can come up and get ready. This requires a little bit of explanation. So Josh is our Director of Parks and Recreation, and he's going to be talking to us about the Cultural Arts District. As a new board here, this is information coming to us fast and furious, so I asked Josh to come and do a presentation so that we have a better look on what's going on. Oh, you got three there? Go ahead, Josh.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'm just going to take up 2 minutes of your time to introduce an initiative that the Arts and Culture...
You have three, by the way.
Okay, we'll be quick. We're going to talk a little bit about an initiative that's been going on for the last couple months. Teresa, if you want to go to the next slide. So we're looking to create a cultural district here in downtown Bristol. So what is a cultural district? It's a walkable, compact, specific area of the city where artistic, historic, and economic activities thrive, community members congregate, and visitors enjoy. Next. So here in Bristol, we're looking at the following area as our city's cultural district. As you can see, it transcends the boulevard as well as up through downtown area. And currently in the state of Connecticut, there's only one other municipality that has the cultural designation district, and that's the town of Ridgefield. So we're hoping to be put Bristol on the map as the second town in Connecticut. So benefits of establishing a cultural district, there are many, but it's an opportunity to help us as a city market arts, history, cultural attractions to our visitors. It's an opportunity to promote and encourage artists, entrepreneurs, and creative businesses to come to our downtown area, which is a goal of the city collectively. It's an opportunity to help promote tourism and increase visitation to our city, improving our quality of life for residents, as well as create a plan to drive economic growth and broaden our tax base here in town. And of course, to just overall highlight the history and culture of our community. There's a couple steps that have been happening and that still need to happen. So several months ago, we had submitted a letter of intent to the state that we were interested in pursuing this endeavor. The state accepted that and noted that we are qualified to go for this designation. Part of that was identifying cultural assets and a specific area where the district could exist. So we've done that. That was tied to the map that you saw in the earlier slide. But things that fit into a cultural district area, so our boulevard is historic, so all the monuments that we have there in the park qualify. The opening of the theater at the boulevard coming up is a big check in the box for us, as well as all the murals in that downtown area, as well as a museum like the Carousel Museum, for example. Those all give us points to getting this designation. So where we have to go from here, we're looking to, the state requires what's called a Cultural District Subcommittee, which we're looking to make that a subcommittee of our existing Arts and Culture Commission. It's a group that's going to be comprised of a minimum of 6 individuals, and there's specific criteria of what they have to be. So we need someone that works in a museum setting. We need someone from arts and culture, someone from economic and community development, and then like a business owner in the downtown area or in the district area. So that's going to be the next step. So we're going to come back to you in January with some recommendations on that subcommittee to consider. Once impaneled, the group is expected to meet maybe 1 or 2 times. We checked with Ridgefield. It's really not a heavy lift. That group is really just looking at the map, reviewing our assets, and on an annual basis, checking to make sure we're still meeting our criteria. And if anything new's coming in, that adds to our profile. From there, we need to hold a minimum of 1 community input meetings where residents can come out, learn about the goals of the cultural district, and have an opportunity to provide feedback. From that meeting, we'll take all the findings, listening to the residents. We'll come back to City Council looking for a resolution from that meeting to move forward with the formal application to the state. At that time, if approved, we would submit the application. Someone from the state comes out, checks, make sure we hit all the marks, and we officially get the designation. So that's a little bit about the process that's going to be forthcoming. We are meeting next week with the Economic and Community Development Department director and our marketing director for the city to talk through this a little bit further and see how we can utilize it to help leverage and market Bristol. So I'm happy to entertain any, I don't know where I did in my 3 minutes, but
Right
that's
about
all
there.
I got. Happy to entertain any questions or do so in January.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Cheryl.
Hey, thank you, Josh.
Yes.
Since you had to submit an application to the state, there must be state statutes on this. Is that correct? Or who in the state, what department, and how is that organized?
Yeah, it's the designated regional service organization with the state. I'll have to pull the initial letter, but they've, again, are already reviewed and noted that we're qualified. But the plan is to come back for January to talk, again, after we get more of the pieces. Tonight's really just to introduce the concept, let you know some of the initial benefits, and then we'll get all the questions answered, and hopefully you can consider it.
Are there any tourism dollars available from the state if you organize and get this district approved?
I'm not sure, but we'll find that out.
Thank you.
So just for the council, I wanted all of you to know that I asked Josh to come and speak tonight. We were trying to push through this quickly, but did not want to, kind of catch us all off guard. So that's why we did this, and so we have a little time to think about it. And thank you, Josh, for your patience on that. Is there a deadline on your application or no?
No, there's not.
Okay,
So there's really no rush for it. So again, we can take as much time as we need, but I think it's what I perceive to be kind of a low-hanging fruit, but that could bring a lot of value to the city, so.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think we're done. Thank you, Josh. We're done with public participation, so we'll move on to number 4, announcements. I'm actually going to go from left to right this time. Sue Tyler, do you have any announcements? You're under 4, so this is announcements right now, not committee reports or anything like that. Do you have any announcements? Just general announcements.
The only thing under announcements is Councilwoman Olson and I, along with Mayor Caggiano, held our very first check-in for our district meeting last night. Josh was a gracious host, and we held it down at Mrs. Rockwell's Pavilion. And we also had a representative from the police department as well. It went really well. It was our very first check-in. I think we didn't have quite the number that we had hoped for, but it was the holiday season here in December, and it was very, very productive.
Thank you. Sebastian, any announcements?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, the Friends of the Bristol Public Library will hold a holiday mini-sale throughout the month of December in the lobbies of the Bristol Public Library and the Man Ross Memorial Library. Items will be available for purchase whenever the libraries are open. The sale features nearly new gift-quality books for readers of all ages, a large selection of children's picture books, movies, music, and other holiday-themed items. New items will be added frequently throughout the run of the sale. This annual event allows shoppers to stock up on reasonably priced winter reading materials and holiday gifts, and the proceeds help the Friends Fund reading programs and other activities at both the Bristol Public Libraries.
Thank you, Sebastian. Cheryl?
Yes, thank you. Andrew Howe and I have selected a date to have our district meeting, and actually anybody in the city is welcome to come. And we will be holding that meeting on Wednesday, January 12th, 6 p.m. in the basement floor of the Man Ross Library, which is in Forestville. So it's open to, anybody, any citizen that'd like to come to meet, chat, ask questions. And we'll be posting that and getting more information out on that. Thank you.
Great. I actually have one quick one before you, Andrew. Just want to throw out a huge kudos to Officer Samantha Kiss. I got a report from the community that went above and beyond to help out an elderly gentleman who was having a hard time at Stop and Shop, followed him home, put his groceries away, and did a great job. So our police are often under very much duress these days, and just wanted to throw that kudos out to Officer Kiss.
Just a quick one from Parks. Their Winter-Spring 2022 program brochure is available on their Facebook page, within their offices, and on their website at bristolrec.com. Registration's available 24/7 online and over the phone during business hours.
Thank you, Andrew. Jolene, any announcements?
Yes, Sebastian and I are having a coffee hour at Starbucks this Saturday from 6 to 7 p.m. So anybody is welcome to come and talk about any issues or concerns you guys have. So we're hoping to get a good turnout. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Jackie?
No announcements for me.
All right. Number 5, consent calendar.
And there are 7 items on the consent calendar. Do you want to just see if anyone would want to take anything off? Otherwise, we can read them if you
Yep,
don't
I
want.
definitely know of one.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to pull item 7, the contract for building demolition at 315 Shrub Road off the consent agenda for further discussion.
All right. I have a letter on that one too, don't I? Is that a letter or?
F.
F, so letter F. Okay, good. I want to make sure we have the right one. Anybody have anything else they want to take off? No? I'll entertain a motion to approve items A through E and G.
So moved.
Second.
Any, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No. Motion carries. All right, let's go to F.
Okay.
Cheryl, you want to lead this discussion?
Yes, thank you. And one reason I wanted to pull this off is we did have a constituent just ask some questions about this. And we also had done some research ourselves. As you know, this is part of the bigger grant with the state of Connecticut to have open space in the Pigeon Hill area in partnership with the Barnes Nature Center. And part of this was in acquiring this land for this grant. There was a price negotiated with the landowners, but according to the grant, the property had to be free and clear of all encumbrances and buildings. And unfortunately, we learned, of course, after the fact, and as we came into office, that that cost fell to the city. And in last month, we had approved $100,000, and then it was brought forward when the bids were received that there would be remediation because there were some hazardous materials at the property, which brought the price back up to another $27,000. So I think it was very important for people to know why that came back up on the agenda. I think it behooves us when we have, these situations that we assign responsibility, to the property owners if we're buying things. This is too good a grant, it's too big a grant. The state doesn't issue them in this magnitude quite often, and we don't want to lose the ability to have that property for the general public. But I urge that those get double checked. And but also, I am troubled by the fact that somebody is seeing somebody, over there, not only because we are going to pay a contractor to do this, but it's a safety thing, especially if there's hazardous materials. So I don't know if that's something we could have a blight officer go out and see what's going on and review that. We don't own the property, but it is all part of the sales agreement. So.
I think well said. Anybody else have anything else to add? The only other thing that I will add is, sometimes you have these things where you have to hold your nose a little bit to move things forward. I do appreciate the council's understanding on this. I know we went to the well last month without a lot of background. This wasn't our project, and we approved $100,000. What we're asking for here is an additional 27, and let's hope that the contractors come in under budget. So I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Cheryl, any other discussion, by the way? No? All right, all approved, all in favor, excuse me?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? No? Motion carries. All right, yeah, we moved that one forward. I hear a clap back there. All right, move on to item number 7. Six, sorry about that, reports and committee reports. So we'll start from my right this time. Jackie, any reports, committee reports?
Yes, the Water and Sewer Department has submitted an application to be a vendor of the Low-Income Household Water Assistance Program. And this program expires on June 15th, 2022. Homeowners will have to meet certain criteria to be eligible, such as income. A summary has been posted on my Facebook page, and you can also go to the Water and Sewer Department to get details. The program is going to be administered by the Human Resources Agency in New Britain, who will send the funds to Bristol Water and Sewer Department for the homeowners that are approved for the program. The other thing I wanted to bring up was that as a result of delays in the mail, the Postal Service, homeowners can pay bills online and avoid having a late fee. And the website is www.bristolwaterdepartment.org.
Thank you. That's it. Jolene?
Sure. For the Board of Education, they voted to remove Superintendent's Carbone executive orders. The lottery has opened up for enrollment for BAMS. They also hired a new principal. But most importantly, there has been numerous reports made by bus drivers regarding the unsafe behavior of a small number of school children while taking the bus to and from school. While this unacceptable behavior comes only to a few, the situation has impacted a large number of children and the bus drivers who drive them. There is hope for an organization to be formed to help reduce the issues with lack of monitors on the buses and to help with the behavioral issues that is going on. And I hope to have more detailed report on this for next month. The Public Works, I think there was a complaint about water built up on the walkway from Stafford to Morris Ave. kids and parents were complaining. So the Public Works, I believe, is in the process of getting a work order done to put in drainage pipes. Youth Commission, there is a program called Pavilion. It's a youth employment program that places youth in real jobs at certain locations to give them experience and pay. It also gives them coaching on interviewing, resume building, and every year the Youth Commission looks for various businesses or nonprofit that are willing to take on a student worker. If anybody has any suggestions, you can let me know or Josh Maduris know. Other than that, that's it.
Thank you, Jolene. Andrew?
I guess I'll start and piggyback off of Jolene. I got to attend the first School Readiness Council on the 1st of December. I found out that they actually do a lot more for the young children in this community. I heard about how they collaborated with the Bristol Early Childhood Alliance, the Parks and Rec, Youth and Community, and the Bristol Senior Center. A group of senior citizen participants, part of a knitting group, are making hats, mittens, and scarves for young children. These items are being placed at specific Appetite for Reading sites or Rec Out Loud sites during December. I also had the chance to hear the collaboration with the Early Childhood Alliance and their Polar Express Facebook event, Making Bristol Better, was first airing on December 10th, but now can be viewed anytime by any family. Activity bags are available at the Bristol Library until supplies run out. There is also a program in the community that could possibly lose thousands of dollars a month, and a safety net, 25% of their operational cost supplement is removed on January 2022. My first meeting with the School Readiness Council was filled with considerable information, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about the early childhood education in our community. And then I can jump on to Parks.
Yep.
The Parks had their the 24th annual Turkey Shoot basketball contest at Chipman's Hill. There were over 70 attendees and $1,000 in community sponsorship and donations. The building inspector finally gave the CO for the Spinelli Pavilion at Page Park. Slight delays, the emergency lights weren't on, fixed for his request, but it will now be open. We're going to take a walk through tomorrow. The mayor and Park and Rec Department. The Memorial Boulevard, after a long time, is finally reopened as of the 6th. Construction will continue on through spring and some of the aesthetics processes of it, but looking forward to seeing that very much. We still have the Letters to Santa program is going on through the 20th. There are mailboxes set up at Rockwell Park, Federal Hill Green, and Page Park. So if your child wants to go and bring one down, make sure you put a return address on it so Santa can send their letter back to them. We had our the 35th Winter Wonderland at Rockwell Park. I went on Saturday night. The place was packed top to bottom, and I was told that the other 3 nights were the same. So we appreciate you coming out and supporting the Parks and Rec and all of their excitement coming on through the year. We look forward to seeing next month.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Go ahead, Cheryl.
Okay, I first wanted to share that as one of the issues that came not quite through a committee, but it does involve Public Works and Police. We did have a visit, Andrew Howe and Sue Tyler and myself, along with our Public Works Director and one of our Animal Control Officers and the President of the Bristol Friends of the Bristol Animal, I'm trying to think of the title, pound. We visited our local dog pound on December 2nd. We had heard from several constituents that there were some conditions they felt needed attention. And as a result of that tour, we came up with several items that we think are not very cost prohibitive, but can improve the comfort, safety of both the two-legged and four-legged residents of that building. Some of those items included air conditioning. Some of those items included possible outside access for dog runs. We also talked about new cat carriers for Our cats, they're the ones that are there, still work, they're functional, but these would be more improved. In bringing this center into the current century, because we also realized there was no internet service. And that's something we'd like to correct right away, which would not only help in communication of animals that are available, but it would help the connectivity and communication for our animal control officers. So working with Ray, he's putting together a list, a budget, and we're going to tackle those items. Some will make it into the budget, but we're very happy to see that we can come up with a workable solution. And we also had input and received comments from several people of the public that have a vested interest and really want to participate and be part of the solution. So it was very heartwarming. Oh,
Anything else?
can I mention that?
I don't think it's
Okay,
settled yet, so
okay.
I would hold on.
I just wanted to talk, a couple things on Public Works. One of the things that the department and, our Public Works Director, Ray, spent a lot of time on, and it's a fantastic 48-page report that's in the December minutes, is a report that tackles all the flooding issues and the areas of high flood in the city. And there's some lot of in-depth information in this report that describes the problem, describes who might take responsibility and next steps. And so if you are impacted by flooding, please let me know. I'll see if your address is listed on this. I'll direct you where to go. It's a fabulous resource and a real great way to identify our problems and the situations so they can be tackled. And so that was a great job, Ray, by the way. Economic development, I think I'd need the next hour to really talk about everything that's on the plate, so I'm really just going to talk for a minute about the Sessions Building. The Land Bank came to address economic development at our last meeting, talking about how they are in the application process for the Transfer Act, and this is necessary. It's an environmental filing that has to be done when you transfer property that could have had some contamination at some point in its life. The cost of, as you know, the state awarded a $2 million grant to help with some of the remediation. And so one of my first questions is what happens if it's greater than $2 million? And it looks like that'll be covered through an insurance policy carried by the developer. So I'm confident that the city's cost to mitigate this can be capped or not our responsibility. The tenants will be out of the building by the end of this month. And as previously approved in the joint board, we've set up a fund to cover electrical and cover heating costs until such time that all these pieces start to come together and the property transfers hands and they start to turn this into, I believe, 91 market-rated apartments for young professionals. So it was exciting to hear about this project. And the potential and the opportunity, because we have a lot of young professionals that really want to stay in Bristol. They're still in walkable distance to downtown. So I think this is going to be a great thing for the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Sebastian?
Yeah, just very briefly, the Library Board of Directors last met on December 6th. So as Diane mentioned, it is budget season here, and a fiscal year budget was, a draft at least, was presented and discussed with the goal of keeping budget levels as they are at current levels going into the next fiscal year, which is the case really in general with just consideration taken into account for energy costs. I think it was natural gas specifically going into next year, which was a small difference. That's it.
Thank you, Sebastian. Susan?
Our ordinance committee is working on a couple of really interesting topics currently. We are working on how to take the use of cannabis and how we regulate that and how that we apply that to our public property and our public parks. We're also working on an issue with on if it's feasible, and how we would address the out-of-state plates that people sometimes use and put on their vehicles to avoid paying property taxes. So those are two ongoing things currently. As far as our police department, they have some really exciting things that have been happening. We have a new officer graduating the Connecticut Police Academy on December 23rd. Bristol Police Department also had the honor to take part in Shop with a Cop, and that was with great support from the Reach Foundation, along with the Bristol Boys and Girls Club, shared some great time shopping with the kids for their loved ones. The Bristol Police Department is also very proud to be a part of several first responding agencies that took part in, or that's taking part in PJ Day for Kids, Connecticut Children's, Stand Together with Kids Fighting Cancer. We exceeded, they did exceed their goal of raised funds, but donations are still being accepted, and that would be at give.connecticutchildrens.org. The police department also raised $17,000 for the Ed Beardsley Challenger Little League. All funds were raised from donations by various businesses, participants, and the golf tournament held at Chippeney Country Club. The money will go to fund the Challenger Day, which is held in July and allows children with special needs from all over the Northeast to play Little League baseball. Probably under announcements, but it's under the police. They're still holding their holiday toy drive. Any and all unwrapped toys can be dropped off at the Bristol Self-Storage on 185 Curtis Street in Bristol through the week of December 13th. So you still have a little bit of time there. And big reminder for everyone, our all-night parking ban does start, and I believe that's today. Tonight, hours from 2 a.m., 6 a.m., any day during the period of time extending from December 15th to March 15th each year. You cannot park on the street. And one last little plug, I want to give Chief Gould his kudos for his efforts towards our economic development here in Bristol. He has brought the Connecticut Chiefs of Police Association Mini Expo, which is a big event with many attendees, and he has brought that to the Doubletree, which is being held this week. And that's awesome, because to have this size organization come here to Bristol and hopefully remain coming to Bristol is awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's it. So we're on to number 7, unfinished business. And if you can read this one for me, Therese, that'd be great.
Certainly, to approve the purchase and sale agreement between the City of Bristol and Wheeler Clinic Incorporated for the sale of Parcel 3 Center Square, and authorization for mayor or acting mayor to execute, postponed from the November 14th, 2021 meeting.
So I'll entertain a motion to approve. Cheryl, have a second?
Second.
Second, Andrew. Discussion. I'm sure we'll have some. Let me just preface by saying that you see in the packet here the information. This is something that traditionally has been kind of a ceremonial type of operation. This has gone through ECD. As we heard from previous speakers, there's an awful lot going on downtown, and this project is one that fits the design of what has been envisioned and handed to us. And granted that this is something that may be a difficult decision for us here, I think we have to realize that a lot of work and effort has been put in place to get us to this point. These things don't happen overnight, and I am squarely in favor of this project and moving it forward and making sure that we continue with downtown development. So that's my introduction, but I'm sure there'll be other discussion. Any other discussion?
Start whichever end.
This is just discussion here. Will anybody have any comments? Cheryl.
Yes, thank you. This is a hard one. It truly is. And I was doing a lot of reading and a lot of digging. And some of the things that I've, come across is, I've started with our 2015 Plan of Conservation and Development, which was developed for how we're going to develop this space. And that whole discussion starts on page 55 and talks about, you know, what the vision would be and the challenge to make downtown more relevant in the day-to-day lives of the residents. And that came very clear, and I'll come back to this plan in a second. But when I knocked on doors during the campaign, at thousands of doors, and, you know, I have the district that is downtown, I have the district that's by Bristol Eastern, and I also have the Green Hills neighborhood. And as many of you know, we're contiguous to Plainville and Southington. And resident after resident said, well, I spend my entertainment dollars in Southington, in Plainville. I really want to spend them here. I want to do more in Bristol, but my options are limited, okay? I've been to I've been to Pint and Plate, and I've been to Parkside. Everybody's been to Parkside. I didn't find one house that hasn't been to Parkside. But door after door, this was reiterated that we want entertainment options downtown. And because Wheeler happened to be in the press and in the paper, the subject came up, and overwhelming the constituents that of doors I knocked in said this is not what they envision and what they'd like to see. So I'm going to go back to the plan of conservation. And again, on page 56, when an open-ended question about what you'd like to see in the city of Bristol to improve downtown, 46% said more business, more shopping, entertainment, fill in the open land, something to generate lower taxes. Those are the 3 top bullet points for the majority, while the next 17 says clean it up, reduce crime, recreate how it was in the past, but you know, there's sometimes you just can't put the genie back in the bottle. But you've got the majority saying, give me entertainment, I will come. You know, I know we can always argue and say, well, why aren't they coming now? I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, but this is what I heard repeated. I also had a proposal. This was done by Gorman and York, who's been cited before. And I'm going to just reiterate their conclusion in this 3-page memo, which is dated, I don't know, I think you sent it to me or Justin sent it to me. We recommend that careful consideration be given to incorporating this proposed use, Wheeler, into the overall plan to reactivate this area of the city. That consideration is based primarily upon the following. Our understanding is that a primary goal of the redevelopment of Center Square is to create and support increased activity in the area after typical business hours during the week and on the weekends. The proposed use is unlikely to contribute to that goal. In fact, utilizing this property for that use will see activity primarily during the business day, Monday through Friday, contributes to the ongoing issue of the inactivation of this area during those key times. It just is saying, hey, this isn't what you told me you wanted. Why are we going there? Now, this is no reflection on Wheeler, okay? And I'm going to tell you right now, I am going to vote no on this location. But I am committed to helping find a place in Bristol for them. In fact, I've already thought of a couple that I've shared. And I don't know if they're 100% available, but I am committed to keeping them in Bristol because they do offer a valuable service, okay? I'm committed to seeing economic development downtown, but I gotta go by what my residents said, what our plan of conservation said, what Gorman and York said, that this is a square peg in a round hole. I know that we want to get shovels in the ground, and I know it's been bare, but I think we're about to turn a beautiful corner. We've got other projects. You had Lot 10 signed, right? You shared. And we've got the carriers. And so I really am optimistic, and I promise I will commit myself to helping economic development and Wheeler. I just don't see this as a fit for downtown, and so I regretfully will be voting no on this.
Thank you, Cheryl. Any other comments?
Through the chair. Over the last month since we tabled this, I've had a lot of discussions with a lot of different people, pros and cons. We've had a heck of a project dumped on us in pretty much our first council meeting. And I'm hearing a resounding no out of our constituents. I walked those doors with Cheryl up through November. They all said the same thing. I spoke with some folks from the state, on the state level, my own my own neighbors, a lot of discussions with different department heads on it, and I just don't feel that prime location would fit for a nonprofit. Does it mean that Bristol is, or I'm against Wheeler coming to Bristol? No, we already have locations here. I would happily sit at the table and try to find them a proper location, but I just feel, being a completely new council in a mayor's seat, that we should be given an honest go at trying to fill it with something that we've all come up and been able to work on. So regretfully, I'm going to join Cheryl. So.
Any other comments?
I will say the same. I decided to run for city council to be the voice of the people, and doing 4,000 plus stores this whole entire summer and fall. The biggest thing that we talked about was downtown, and same thing as Cheryl said. People don't spend any money here. They go to other cities. They go to Southington. They go to Plainville. They go to Burlington. They want restaurants. They want shops. They want entertainment. So I'm going to listen to my residents, and I'm also going to vote no for this as well.
Any other comments? Susan?
This is this has been a very tough month. I am a real estate professional, and this has been a very, very difficult thing to try to make a decision on. I'll kind of reiterate what my other colleagues have said. At doors, this did not come up as many doors as maybe some other districts, but when it did come up at doors, people were very clear that they did not think that Wheeler Clinic was a good fit for this one piece of downtown property that is in a prime location on a corner lot. There was never any discussion about Wheeler Clinic not being wanted here in our city. All the discussion was just not right there in our downtown heart of our city. You know, we're Bristol all heart. Our downtown is the heart of this whole city. And in listening to people talk about Wheeler, I also, looked at the purchase agreement, and I pulled up the appraisal that the city of Bristol did. And I also, looked at the other projects. And it's very, very tough because I understand that Wheeler Clinic they thought that they were going to have their purchase contract signed at our city council meeting last month. This put us in a horrible position. Wheeler Clinic has proceeded forward in good faith, and they have spent money, doing legal fees, doing architectural design. They have done inspections on the property. They were ready to put shovels in the ground this month. So this is a very, very tough decision for all of us. But again, I have to listen to my constituents, and I didn't just stop at doors. I have spent the last month, I did not go to the Barnes Group, but I have talked to many business owners and residents in the downtown area. And Just even this morning, I had 2 people who live in the downtown area and also conduct business in the downtown area. They said that when they walk around in the evening, that downtown right now feels creepy. And I have to say, you know, I don't want to say no. I don't want to disrupt the momentum. I don't want to not put shovels in the ground. I do not want to offend Wheeler Clinic. But this is just, in my mind, based on all of the facts that I've gathered and the people that I've talked to, I can't say that this is the best fit in this location. I agree with Cheryl. I will do anything and everything. I stand ready to help Wheeler Clinic find another location. But at this point, I cannot vote yes for this one particular area. And I do think that not only should we be willing to help Wheeler Clinic find another location if they will even allow us to do that, but I also think that the city of Bristol kind of needs to help them with the money that they have spent already. And maybe that we can make that up in our efforts to try to help them find a different place to put their corporate headquarters.
Sebastian.
So I obviously this has been a difficult decision for everyone. We haven't really had that run-up of goodwill or a relationship building. I think that helps in a decision like this at this point in the game after 6 weeks. And I don't want to give any inclination of, like Sue said, acting in bad faith from behalf of the city or going against any agreements. Because we have been here for 6 weeks and we are doing our due diligence and gathering all the information that we need to gather to make the best decision before us. And the city has a good relationship with Wheeler now for a number of years. And I've taken that into account when I made my, my decision here tonight. I think economically speaking, things will probably get worse next year. So I think a project that's ready to go right now is a good thing. 200 plus jobs in the downtown area and professional level jobs that I think we're looking for when we're trying to plan a balance, right, of professionals and the businesses that we want to see down there who need clientele and who need patrons. So that's part of the plan, I think, of what we're looking for. Wheeler's present in our schools currently. They're assisting some of our students in many schools, and there is a growing health crisis, really, mental health crisis that's growing in size and scope. And I think that in the near term and in the long term, Wheeler's going to be there to meet those challenges that are really important. And it's not just COVID, it's many other things besides COVID. And I think Wheeler's role will be outsized in the future to address those needs. And that's also part of this, I guess, the stigma of mental health that's come up here and the location across the street. So I'm not going to cater to that here tonight. I think that we've heard from residents, we've heard from parents, so I keep them in mind. I keep their sons and daughters in mind, my son. A lot of the students who are receiving help from Wheeler today, who are old enough to draw their own conclusions about our decision of where we think the best place to put Wheeler is, whether it's downtown or outside of Bristol altogether. So I keep them in mind. I'm not going to turn my back on them. I'm trying to make this decision based on a higher set of principles in terms of mental health. This all heart behind us, that's on every memo. I think we run counter to that when we make that decision here tonight. Jolene mentioned issues on the school bus. We talked about Sandy Hook here tonight at the beginning. We took a moment of silence. So, all heart.
Thank you, Sebastian. Jackie, you're the only one that hasn't spoken yet.
Well, I believe I've done my due diligence as far as the Wheeler Clinic goes. Susan and I met with Sabrina, the president and CEO of Wheeler, and we listened to her presentation. However, I have spoken to many constituents as well who don't believe that it's a good fit for Bristol, and I am going with that. I also don't believe it's a good fit for that particular parcel of land.
I just want to kind of conclude with 3 points here. One that hasn't been mentioned yet, but there are many different ways to come about a deal, and Wheeler Clinic is actually paying a premium for this lot. Many of the other for-profit businesses would be working on tax abatements. I know that was an early issue with this team. I didn't hear it brought up here tonight. I think looking at this as a singular issue is one of the bigger mistakes that we can make as a council. We have 2 other viable projects that cover most of what the plan of development talks about. And I did hear in the plan of development, people are tired of empty lots. It's a ghost town downtown. We have businesses that are failing today, and we have to keep in mind that this was something that's been in the planning stages for a year. And, I think that the city is something that you should be thinking about as well, too. You can talk to all your constituents, and they can have their myopic view. In my opinion, I have put an awful lot of effort to make sure that every single one of you had every single question answered, that every single one of you had the questions about all the other projects. And I also will point out, just to make sure that it's on the record, I went back to Wheeler Clinic and asked them if they would allow us to indemnify ourselves to use their parking lot on nights and weekends. So we have gone to great lengths to answer your questions, and I think your vote will stand with your vote, and I hope this isn't a big mistake that we're happening based on the input that you all gave. I am going to ask that we do a roll call vote on this one. And Therese, I'm going to start on the far right then, too. Jackie Olson.
No.
No.
Jolene. Andrew.
No.
No.
Sebastian.
Yes.
No.
And chair votes yes. Motion fails. All right. Let me get back to the agenda here. New business. Jackie, I think you might have some new business, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it
I
somebody
thought
else?
it was under,
Oh, it got added to the
13.
agenda? Okay. Did you have the new business, the one that I handed? We had a motion. Oh, yeah, Sue. Sue, you had it. Sorry about that.
Okay, a motion. I move that the City of Bristol enter into settlement agreements with Jensen Pharmaceuticals, Inc. and pharmaceutical distribution companies, McKesson, Cardinal Health, and Amerisource Bergen, as part of the multi-state litigation involving several states, counties, and municipalities versus opioid manufacturers and distributors. I further move that the mayor or acting mayor be authorized to execute any and all documents required to ensure that the city's participation in the settlement with the above-named entities and others as required by the National Opioid Settlement.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Yep. A discussion. Tom, can I ask you just to give a quick overview of this, like 30 seconds, because this is a new one to us. Want to make sure everybody's fully informed. Thank you.
Sure, I'll be as brief as I can be. I just have a couple of things that I wrote down for you tonight. The city engaged Drubner Hartley Law Firm in Waterbury to represent its interests in a tort litigation versus opioid manufacturers and distributors. Of course, you're well aware of the opioid crisis, which has been going on in the United States for probably half a decade and has affected our city as well as many others in the state. So this lawsuit has attracted litigants from not only here in our state, but across America. We joined into this national effort to help resolve dozens of lawsuits. And what happened was these lawsuits have been joined into a national opioid settlement. Attorney generals from all 50 states ended up suing on behalf of their states, manufacturers and distributors. You're probably very familiar with Purdue Pharma, which is located right here in Connecticut, became the poster child for this national litigation. So the attorney generals from these states sued opioid manufacturers. Our attorney general, William Tawn, joined, and the state of Connecticut has taken the lead in the settlement negotiations, even though we here as a municipality had our own lawsuit pending through Drubner Hartley. The state, we heard most recently that Governor Ned Lamont would like the AG to stand down, that the legislature would actually take the front seat on this, and that a bill will be proposed in the next legislative session, which will proscribe how any settlement would then trickle down to the municipalities that are participating here in the state of Connecticut. So that's the purpose of this motion tonight, is to allow us to participate in the national litigation so that we can obtain our share, if you will, of any settlement proceeds. Right now, the distribution amount that has been agreed upon with these litigants, $21 billion over 18 years to be distributed, and also an additional $5 billion over 9 years. It's guaranteed that $22.8 billion will be spent to help alleviate and ameliorate some of the effects opioid abuse has had in our communities. For instance, those monies would have to be used for treatment, intervention, education, and recovery efforts. It would also, this agreement would also allow for injunctive relief, so it would actually force distributors and manufacturers to stop some of these methods that they've been using that have created this opioid crisis. So this motion will allow Bristol to participate in the settlement, and this has been endorsed by our outside counsel, Drubner Hartley.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Tom?
I have a question. Isn't this the one we entered like way back in like 2014 or something like that? Is that lawsuit when we first went in?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, this
so
is part
way,
of that overall.
okay, thank you.
Finally coming to resolution. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Nope, motion carries. All right, moving on to resignations. Therese, you're going to read those for us? Thank you.
Certainly. I have 3 resignations, Your Honor. The first is from Lisa Casey from the Board of Ethics. The second is from Bonnie Ludovico from the Board of Library Directors. And the third is from Malcolm Huckabee from the Board of Park Commissioners and also from the American Rescue Plan Task Force.
Thank you very much.
Motion to approve and have a letter sent to them thanking them for their service.
Yep, I have a motion.
Second.
Second by Andrew. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. All right, under appointments here, we have quite a few. So Therese, you're going to help me on this. Some of these are mayor's appointment. I don't know if we have them right, and some will have to be acted on. First one, ARPA, I actually don't have. Is that a direct appointment? That's just an announcement? Oops, sorry.
Council approval.
Council approval. So I will entertain a motion to approve and appoint Jay Maya for the American Rescue Plan ARPA Task Force.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody disapprove? Nope. Motion carries. All right. Next is Economic and Community Development to reappoint Howard Schmedler, 5-year term, 12/26, and reappoint Marvin Goldwasser, 5-year term to 12/26. These are also motion and approval.
Yes.
Move to approve?
Jackie, second.
Second.
Andrew, any discussion on this? Nope. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. All right, this one is just mine, I believe. Board of Ethics, I just make an announcement that I'm going to appoint Jeffrey Crook to replace Lisa Casey, who resigned 11/21. That's an unexpired term to 3/24. Next is Board of Finance. This will also be a vote. I entertain a motion to appoint Mark Whitford to replace Nicholas Jones Jr. He resigned to an unexpired term to 6/24.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Freedom of information to vote too, right, Therese? Yep.
That requires a vote, yes.
Yep, good. I am going to entertain a motion to appoint Jeffrey Crook to replace Josh Blackler. He resigned an unexpired term to 1/23.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Housing Authority, a motion to reappoint Greg Klimick to a 5-year term to 1/26.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Housing Code Board of Appeals, there's 3 here to reappoint Timothy Gamache, 3-year term, 12/31/24, reappoint Aaron Thibodeau, 3-year term, 12/31/24, and reappoint Christine Costa, 3-year term, 12/31/24. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. All right, this one is a mayor's appointment. Just will announce that I'm going to appoint Rich Ministro to replace Daniel Massaro as an alternate to the Inlands and Wetlands Commission, unexpired term to 9/22. Next, Board of Park Commissioners will entertain a motion to appoint Len Lamoth to replace Malcolm Huckabee, who resigned, unexpired term to 12/24.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Board of Police Commissioners, again, 3 reappointments. Reappoint Paul Lemieux to a 3-year term, expires 12/24. Reappoint Gloria Sapp-Smith, 3-year term to 12/24. Reappoint Rory Gio, 3-year term to 12/24. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Sewer Commission, 2 here, reappoint Elizabeth Phelan, 3-year term to 12/24. Reappoint Ramiro Suarez, 3-year term to 12/24. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Bristol Transportation Commission, I'm going to entertain a motion to appoint Maria Montelli Tremazzo to replace Frank Ronzello, citizen at large, unexpired term to 7/24.
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
Andrew gets the motion, second there. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. A couple more. Bristol Water Commissioners, reappoint Elizabeth Phelan, 3-year term to 12/24. Reappoint Ramiro Suarez, 3-year term to 12/24.
So moved.
Second from Sebastian. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Zoning Commissioners, last one, we're on Z. Appoint Eileen Abrams to replace Susan Tyler, alternate member, unexpired term to 12/22.
So moved.
You get the second, Susan, right? That's for
Second.
you?
No,
That sounds
sorry.
good.
We can
That's all right.
swap.
That's all right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
Your Honor, also, do you have the appointments for the Northeast Middle School Building Committee?
Oh, and I think the only one I had to announce was Orlando Calfee.
And-
And then were the others in
and
there? I
Eric-
don't have that one, but if.
And Eric
if-
Carlson as an announcement, and then there are, I'll give you mine.
Yep, well, I'll go ahead and read them. Sorry about that. We tried to consolidate them all. Got it. So, the appointments that were made by the building project, recommended appointments were Daniel Sandstrom, who is the principal, educational professional, John Frymouth, a member of the professional community, Frank Stosky, who's a member of the professional community of the city, and Tommy Barubi, citizen taxpayer of the school area to be served. Good, and I think that's it now, right? Then-
Correct, and then they
we
actually
need to
may
vote
be
on that
a
one?
motion and a vote, yes.
Motion, so moved.
You have discussion?
Discussion? You have a question?
Yes, who is the parent on the list?
We might be missing. We have a couple more, very good catch. So we have David Stanish, citizen taxpayer of the district, and Kelly Roberts, who is the parent in the school area. Good catch. So the motion will be amended to include them.
So amended.
And a second?
Second.
There we go. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Therese. That seems to always be the hardest part of the meeting. Number 11, I'll let you read the resolution.
Certainly.
Go ahead.
Resolution regarding approval of Regional Hazardous Mitigation Plan Update 2021 2026 with municipal annex for Bristol, prepared by NAVCOG, NVCOG, and authorization for mayor or acting mayor to sign. And there is a resolution to read, Your Honor, although you can waive the reading of the resolution because it is
Make a
full
motion
page.
to waive the resolution, reading of the resolution,
And approve.
and approve
The regional.
the regional hazardous mitigation plan update.
Thank you very
And
much. Do you have a
this would
second?
be also a
Roll call.
roll call. Yes.
Gotcha. Second was Jackie?
Yes.
Jackie, good. All right, we'll do a roll call.
What
Roll-
discussion?
Oh, discussion, yes. Do we have discussion on this? Sorry.
I was going to just say that, it is a long report, but I thought it was kind of fascinating. Maybe I'm a geek, I don't know, but also it was well laid out. There was also some PowerPoints on the website that led to why they need to do this, but if you go to their website, it's well laid out and it's an easy read, to follow. You don't have to be, a rocket scientist, and I just thought they brought a lot of good points, and I thought it was a well-quality done document, and so I definitely just wanted to put that plug in for it. I thought it was a good document.
Thank you very much. I think we're ready for a vote, though. All in favor? Oh, no, roll call,
resolution.
sorry. We got to go back. Sue, I said I was going to start with you. Go ahead.
Yes.
Sebastian?
Yes.
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 And chair votes yes. All right, number 12. Want to read this one for me, Therese?
To rescind the endorsement by the Bristol City Council at their September 14th, 2021 meeting approving a project labor agreement for renovations to City Hall. And there is a motion to read.
Yep. Somebody want to read the motion for us? Click on it. 12? Should be on the, there you go. Andrew, go ahead.
I hereby move that the City of Bristol rescind the previous endorsement made by the Bristol City Council at its September 14th, 2021 City Council meeting approving the project labor agreement for renovations at Bristol City Hall. I hereby move that the City of Bristol notify and instruct the construction manager to terminate the project labor agreement between D'Amato and Downs, a joint venture, and the Greater Hartford New Britain Building and Construction Trades Council and the North Atlantic States Regional Council of Carpenters. I further move that the mayor or acting mayor be authorized to execute any necessary documents to effectuate the same, and that this matter be referred to the Corporation Council for any necessary action.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Jackie has a second. Any comments on this one from the group? Cheryl, you want to lead? Go ahead.
Through the chair. Yes, and, I think what was unclear, and I went back and I did read the minutes from the August meeting where it was deferred and then voted on in the September meeting. And there were 2 council members that, voted no on this when it was first done. But there was no mention of the economic impact to the taxpayers, and that it's estimated that this would have raised the cost of City Hall by $3 to $4.5 million. And so this is after budgets, this is after everything had been put through, and that's a huge cost to the taxpayers. We've have done several projects without the PLA. There's going to be bumps in any project, but we've had some very good, successful projects that have been completed with good quality work. And this does not preclude any union, organized union company or any non-union company from participating or bidding. All are still welcome to bid, but the benefit is to the taxpayer, and I think it's necessary. Thank you.
Any other discussion, comments? I will just add that Memorial Boulevard Inter-District Arts Magnet School was not a PLA project. We actually, to date, that I'm aware of, have not had a PLA project here in Bristol. Some of the other reasons that were brought up were quality, size of the project. This project is actually smaller than that, and I'm told we're currently under budget and on time for that project. There are several local contractors that will be able to bid on this project that might not have been able to done that before, and that's kind of the tradition that we have worked on in the past, so I am also in favor of this. I think we're ready for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody
Aye.
opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. All righty, number 13, and this one is you, Jackie. You have this one?
Yes. I hereby move that the City of Bristol enter into an offer to option real estate with BD Church LLC, owner of lot number 16 on Church Avenue of the City of Bristol. Said cost of option shall be $0 and shall commence on December 15, 2021, and expire on March 15, 2022. The purpose of this option is to allow the City of Bristol to explore whether it has any interest in acquiring this lot for a new firehouse in the Forestville section of Bristol. I further move that the mayor or acting mayor be authorized to execute any necessary documents to effectuate the same, and that this matter be referred to the Corporation Council for any necessary action.
And do you have a second paragraph in there about referring it to the Board of Fire Commissioners?
That actually was removed because this is coming directly from the Fire Board Commissioners meeting, which we had at 5 PM. So I think we're good, Jeff.
Second.
Second for Cheryl. I'll give you guys maybe a little discussion to start on this one. This is a project that I actually found out tonight. It started probably 7 years ago, I think they said. So Firehouse number 3 is one that's been on the blocks, off the blocks for quite a long time. All this really does is allow us to continue an option that was in place before with D'Amato to potentially purchase this property. It's not obligating us to anything. What's that?
Not
D'Amato?
Not D'Amato.
Oh, well, the holding company, sorry, here. It is ultimately D'Amato.
Is
But
it? Oh,
anyway,
okay.
the other option that we want to look into here is federal monies that may become available, and those monies that are granted need to be for a shovel-ready project. So this is time to re-bring this up and look at it. So we're not obligating ourselves to any financial obligation right now, but giving us some time to go ahead and look into this and see if we should pursue it. Any other comments, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. All right. Next one on our list is 15, right?
14.
Oh, no, sorry, 14. That's a big one, too. Go ahead, Cheryl.
Okay. I hereby move that the City of Bristol enter into a lease with D'Amato Realty LLC to rent the premises known as 150 Main Street, Bristol, Connecticut. The term of the lease shall be for 18 months and shall commence on February 1, 2022, and shall terminate on July 31, 2023. The monthly rent shall be $15 per square foot for approximately 14,776 plus or minus feet, for a total monthly rent of $18,470. If needed, the City of Bristol, at its option, can hold over the premises after July 31, 2023, on a month-to-month basis at a 5% increase, or $19,393.50 per month. In addition to the monthly rent, the City of Bristol shall be responsible for any and all property and real estate taxes, liability insurances, and interior-exterior maintenance, including snow, ice removal, grounds maintenance, and site lighting on the premises. D'Amato Realty LLC shall build out the leased premises in accordance with the City of Bristol's space layouts, in accordance with the bid proposal dated October 19th, 2021, and attached hereto and marked Exhibit A. I further move that the mayor or acting mayor be authorized to execute any necessary documents to effectuate the same, subject to review by the Corporation Council.
It's a mouthful. I don't know that we need to have too much discussion on this. I would just add for the audience and others and remind the council that we actually had a special meeting, building committee meeting, to talk a lot about the move from here to City Hall, and this is obviously directly related to it. Any questions while we're here?
And the cost is in the actual overall budget, too.
Correct. Yep. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. All right. Next one is 15, and there is a motion on this one if you read down just a little bit on the first page. Number 15 is I'll read that while you find the motion for me. You got it? Good. This is approval to submit FEMA Assistance to Firefighters Grant not to exceed $300,000 for training for aerial operator, pump operator, and fire officer, 3 classes. This is authorization for mayor or acting mayor to execute and refer to the Board of Finance. Andrew, you want to read the motion? Keep going up.
I have it here if you need.
Go ahead, Sebastian. Yeah, we haven't read one yet.
Motion to approve the submission of an application for a total program cost not to exceed $300,000 in funds to the FEMA Assistance to Firefighters Grant Program to authorize the mayor to execute any and all documents associated with the application and contract if awarded, and to refer the matter to the Board of Finance for any necessary action.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Dawn, you waited this long. Do you want to throw something quick here? I think you handed it to the board before. Does anybody have any questions for Dr. Ledger?
Great job.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. All right. Next item on the list is an executive session. We need a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
And Attorney Korwicki will let us know who's going to go into an executive
The
session.
entire group of our office will go in, and our outside counsel, Nicole Fleckinger.
All right. Thank you. We'll be back. All right.
Recording in progress.
Good. Back, no votes were taken, but I will entertain a motion to come out of an executive session.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Nope. Sue, I think you have a motion.
I hereby move that the City of Bristol enter into a full and final settlement in the matter of Jeffrey Beauchamp versus City of Bristol for any and all workman's comp claims for the total amount of $85,000. The dates of these claims are listed below, but are not limited to the following: March 25th, 1991, June 18th, 1992, October 10th, 1992, January 30th, 1994, November 29th, 1994, February 3rd, 1996, September 16th, 1997, November 8th, 2005, June 2nd, 2009, May 18th, 2010, June 28th, 2012, August 26th, 2014, December 23rd, 2015, September 21st, 2016, and November 5th, 2016. I further move that the mayor, acting mayor, corporation counsel, or assistant corporation counsel be authorized to execute the full and final settlement.
Need a second? Jackie? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Unfortunately, Attorney Stieg, I don't think there's any other business proper to come before said meeting, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Oh, who's
I
going to
give
take that one?
everybody can have the second. Therese, you choose. All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.